Hi everyone, welcome to the YouthWorks live Q&A. We're so excited to have you. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go through a bit of a presentation, but we're going to have Q&As throughout. So we're going to answer your questions in the chat, but we'll also take some time to answer your questions live with our wonderful individuals with YouthWorks and other partner organizations that are helping us out. All right, so I'm going to jump on to sharing my screen, and what we're going to do is go through that presentation. But first, just want to let you know who I am. So I'm a workforce analyst here with YouthWorks, and I'm really excited to be running this live Q&A with you all. And I'll be introducing our presenters as we go, just so you know who they are, and we're going to go through the YouthWorks application process and try to make it as helpful as it can be, you know, because we want to be there to make sure this process is easy for you all. All right, so I'm going to share my screen. We're going to get started in just a moment. All right, from the start. All right, so we're going to be going over the YouthWorks online application process. All right, so here just to show you kind of our agenda, we're going to go over dates to remember, eligibility, kind of go through the attachments portion of the application, as well as account setup, application directions, and then kind of go through those frequently asked questions that we've received over the phone and by email. Another question and answer section at the end. We'll have those kind of throughout as well, and then more contact information at the very end. All right, so here's some of those dates to remember. The Youth Online application at the moment is running till March 19th. That's the deadline. So please get your applications in as quickly as you can. Make sure you hit that submit button like we'll talk about later. And then those summer jobs operating dates are, oops, sorry, I can't see exactly. Here we go, June. I'm sorry, my bottom of my screen is blocking it, but as you can see, those are the operating dates. Apologies. And then our eligible youth, I'll run through this really quickly. Must be a Baltimore City resident, age 14 to 21. Again, foster care youth can live in Baltimore County as well. It's just a little caveat there. And then 13-year-olds must be 14 by June 25th, 2021. So just have to be 14 by that time. New youth, register with your email, Gmail or MSN are preferred, as well as other emails. We just don't recommend Yahoo because it doesn't work as well with our application and the emails that you should receive from your application. Returning youth, we recommend that you use the same email and password that you've applied with before. And then if you can't access your account, we'll be talking about this email a lot throughout. Please contact YW Helpdesk at oedworks.com. We'll be going over more of those phone numbers and another email that you can reach out to. There's some other reasons that you might not have access, such as forgetting your password that we'll go over. Maybe you don't remember your email address, or you're trying to use the same address for more than one person. So we'll talk about more of these details later on as well. Briefly, we have a how-to video guide. If this isn't enough for you, we got another video on our website on our youth page. So if you go to our homepage, youthworks.oedworks.com, you make sure you click youth at the top of the page, shown there below. And then make sure you scroll down to completing the online application. Don't scroll down too far. And just click that play button. It's a video that shows basically all of our attachments and forms that are outlined below there in a little more detail as well. All right, and then here where you can find those application attachment forms, just below that video, you can click for the forms there. Make sure for the work permit that you click on work permit, right where it says that. And then you can also hover above all of those different options for attachments, and it'll kind of give you some more information as well. All right. Again, if you need help, email ywhelpdesk@oedworks.com, just below at the very bottom. And real quick, attachment forms must be filled out correctly, signed, and submitted for you to have a chance to get a YouthWorks summer job. But what we're going to do is try to help you as much as we can. That's why we have our email and phone number available. All right. So real quick, before we get into attachment checklists, we're going to see if you have any questions so far. I know I was running pretty quickly through that. All right, so I submitted my application. Is it complete? All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to answer that question, but real quick, I see that Rashim is here, a wonderful YouthWorks manager, so she's going to introduce herself really quickly before we jump into that question. That's a great question as well. It seems that unfortunately we're having a little bit of technical difficulty. Rashim did click unmute, but her speaker is not working. Let's see if it works. So unfortunately it's not working, Rashim. Hopefully we can get that technical difficulty fixed. But I have to tell you, she's wonderful. She's been doing a great job, and it's wonderful to have her here. But yeah, let's bring that question back up. I submitted my application. Is it complete? So real quick, I can start to answer that question, and then maybe we'll have Carol jump on and kind of fill in any details that I might miss. So if you submit your application, what you should receive is an email from YW Help Desk. I know I've said it already. And if it says that it's incomplete, we provide a checklist of the different attachments, which we're about to discuss. And if there's an X next to that, one of those attachments or a few of those, that means it needs some more work. So maybe it's missing, or maybe there's a missing signature. And what we try to do is provide those specific details of what might be missing. Now, if it is complete, if it is approved, you'll also receive an email that will say that your application is approved. Now, if you haven't received an email at all, please reach out to us, and we'll try to get that fixed as best we can. Like I said, Yahoo emails don't always work so well, so maybe the email didn't come through. All right. And Carol, do you have anything to add there as well? I don't know if it's just me, but I'm not able to hear Carol's audio.
There you go. Sorry. I'm the assistant to the YouthWorks manager. And the first part of the application process, if you've never even went on before, is to go on our website and start the beginning process, which is filling out your basic information, your name, your address, and birth date, and those kinds of things. And then you submit that, and our system will automatically send an email to your email address to ask you to please open and confirm that that's you. And once you open and confirm that it's you, then you can go back in our system and complete the application process. You can go into the process as far as filling out the application, filling out the complete application. And at the end, you have to definitely finalize and submit the application. So that's the process of the YouthWorks application process. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Carol. And we're going to jump back in and kind of go over some more details of the attachment checklist that I briefly mentioned. Just one moment. And we're back on the PowerPoint. And now we're going to have our wonderful Desiree talk about the attachment checklist, the identity and work authorization, account setup, and some of the application process. All right, Desiree, take it away.
Good afternoon. My name is Desiree. I am the virtual coordinator unit supervisor for YouthWorks, and we'll be discussing the attachment checklist. So, the first attachment is the employment eligibility I-9 form. That's just verifying that you're eligible to work in the United States. The next two forms are your tax forms, which is Maryland withhold exemption tax, which is the 507, that's the state form, and the federal withholding exemption is the W-4 form. So I just want to make sure that you keep in mind that when completing the 507 form and the W-4 form, that if you put zero on either one of those forms, that means that the state will take the maximum amount of taxes out versus if you put exempt. So if you put zero, then you have the state, the federal government, FICA, and Social Security coming out your check. Versus if you want to file for exempt, then you'll just have the FICA and Social Security taking out your check. The next form is the application signature page. This page is just you acknowledging that you are working with YouthWorks and that there's any problems with your application or any overpayment, that you will be responsible for paying that back. That's just an acknowledgement form. The next form is the work permit. Youth under the age of 18 will have to apply for a youth work permit, and the link is right there where you go to the DLR website to attain your work permit. The next is your identity work authorization, which is just your ID. So you can either have a school ID, a report card, a Maryland State ID. And if for any reason you don't have an ID, your parent can sign at the bottom of the I-9 for your identity. Your work authorization is your social security card, your birth certificate, or your U.S. citizen card, or a permanent residence card. Continuing with the work authorization, some documents do work as identity and work authorization, and those are right here: the passport, the permanent residence card, employee authorization document, or an alien registration receipt card. Okay, Eric, you can go to the next slide. Okay, so if you're new youth and you're completing the application, Ms. Carol just walked you through the steps. She summed it up really well. But your first step, you will create your account, and then you will receive an email verifying that this is your account. You will click on the link in your email that's saying to access the application. You will then go into complete the applications and upload your attachments. You will receive an automatic response confirming your email that was submitted and received, and you will receive an email that your application is approved and eligible for summer opportunity. And we're encouraging all youth to apply online. If you're a returning youth completing the application process, you will, step one, log into your existing YouthWorks account. You will also complete the application. You will also receive an automatic response confirming your email and the submission that we have received it. You'll receive an application. I'm sorry, you will receive an email stating that your application has been approved and you're eligible for a summer job opportunity. Okay, so this is just a quick overview as to how you can go in to set up your account. So if you're a returning youth, you will return to the YouthWorks youth page, scroll down to the online application, and then you will click returning youth if you completed the YouthWorks process before, or you will click a new youth if you never completed, if this is your first year. So new youth, please read the statement and scroll down. Click the checkbox next to I agree, and then click continue after you have read all the verbiage that's at the top. You will read our privacy agreement. Click the checkbox next to I agree and continue when creating your account. New youth use an existing email or create a new one. Returning youth, you can sign into your previously used account if possible. And returning youth may use email from past year's application or new email. If you have forgotten your password, you can click on I forgot my password. Okay, so steps to completing the application. Your first step is your registration. That is when you just go in there and you put your name, your birthday, and a few more information, and then you just click submit. And then you, like in the previous slide, you will receive an email where you have to go back in and just confirm that that's you. Step two is your work accommodations, which is the second portion of the application, with you will work with preferences or interests. And then your step four, I'm sorry, step three is your payment. You will choose which payment option you would like to choose during your youth works experience, and we'll explain that in later detail.
Oops. All right, just one moment. So I wanted to make sure I wasn't on mute. All right, so Curtis is now going to go through a demonstration where he's going to go over how you can upload your attachments. That's the next section of the application process.
Okay, so let me share my screen for a second. Okay, so once you're at YouthWorks and you already made your account, you should see this screen for the home screen for your account. So you go to youth registration. Well, I guess I got to log back in. But from there, I will show you how to attach a document. Wait 1 second. Okay, so you click on youth registration, and in this area you see attachments. Attachments is where you're going to go if you want to attach documents, like say for instance after you finalize your application. But generally there is a tab in the application as well that you can go to, which is step 4.4 in attachments. But for now, let's go to the actual one that is the attachment section. And in attachment section, there is 2 boxes here. So one is attachment type, which would be the type of attachments that you are going to place or upload to your application. So say for instance, I have an application signature page that I've already completed. I select application signature page. I choose the file button. Then I go to desktop or wherever your application signature page is. So for instance, for me, it's desktop. I hit open. And there you go. It's automatically uploaded. I don't have to hit any submit button. It's just automatically uploaded. And just another hint as well is that, say for instance, you messed up and picked the wrong attachment type. You can always delete that attachment that's already uploaded. Hit the delete button here. Hit OK. And it's completely gone. And you can start over again. You also can overwrite your attachment as well if you gave the wrong, let's say, revised version of your document. And that way you will be able to not have to worry about deleting another file, because if you select the accurate attachment type and choose the same exact file, it will just overwrite it. And as simple as that.
All right, thanks so much, Curtis. All right, so now we're going to take a few of your questions. We're going to really take a nice long Q&A session here, make sure we get your questions answered. All right, so Angela asks, hello, how and when do we know if our child will be selected to work? All right, who wants to answer that question from our great guest panel? All right, it looks like Carol is ready. Go ahead, Carol. Hit that unmute button for us.
Sorry. The process for starting to match the kids doesn't start until May. So we'll start letting kids know towards the end of May, the middle of June, when they are placed. And they will be notified via email, letter, and text. So they'll be notified either way.
All right. Great. All right. So that was a great question. Let's move on. So Tawanda asked, hello, both of my sons have submitted their applications and the response has been incomplete. Is there someone that can assist me with this? I think maybe we should go back to Carol again, or Yolanda. Who wants to take that question? All right, go for it.
If you would like to know more information in reference to your child's application, I would suggest that you call the YouthWorks number, which is 410-545-1820. And we can give you information in reference to your child's application and the status at this time.
All right, wonderful. Yep, so we have the help desk number, 410-545-1820. We'll go over, why don't we maybe go over the tech hotline number as well. So we have a tech team, which involves our wonderful Curtis. And we have an email for that tech team as well as a phone number. So the email is helpdesk1@digitalequitybaltimore.org. And again, we'll have a slide at the very end that goes through all that contact information. So you don't have to scribble it down unless you really want to. All right. And why don't we do that number as well? Curtis, do you want to just...
I would like to add some little extra things about the application attachment process. So also, you can also finalize your application without actually attaching all of the documents first. So it's advised that you finalize all of the information first and not just, wait until you have all your documents first. Just to keep that in your head, just a heads up,
Awesome. All right, so that's great. And then let's take another question. So Joy says, I'm a work site and we don't want to miss participating this year. We don't want you to miss it either. So we have a worksite application. And does anyone else in the group want to go over that a little more, that worksite application process? What do we think?
I'll do it again.
Okay.
Okay, so if you were a worksite in the past, okay, and all of your organization information is the same, so you would put in your email and your password from prior years and to start an application process. You have, I believe, until the end of March to enter your worksite application. And we do have a representative at YouthWorks. Her name is Stephanie Torres. If you have any questions with regard to how many kids you may want, or if it's going to be virtual or hybrid, or if it's, any other kind of in-person. So we do have different restrictions for this year with regards to that, but most of our work sites will be virtual. But I would suggest you give her a call. Again, her name is Stephanie Torres at 410-545-1820, and she'll definitely help you with that.
All right, so that was a great answer there. And it looks like there was also maybe an issue last year. So we're going to make sure, we get back to you in time. And I think, Curtis, did you have something else to add in as well?
Okay, so one of my team members from the help desk, they asked the question. So they asked if a caller is in the process of getting a SN, a social security card for their kids or a social security number for their kids, can they use their social security number for their kids until then? Like the parents themselves. So
all information for the youth is the youth's information. So if they're in the process of going to get the social security card, If they can bring that receipt from the Social Security Administration, and we do accept that form.
Okay, so they would have to take a picture of that as an attachment, or
Yes.
okay.
Mhm.
And I just want to go back to say about the work sites information. Desiree just said that it's April the 16th. It was changed to April the 16th for the deadline for the work site. So excuse me.
Awesome. Maybe we should take another question while we're at it. I think we're on a roll here. All right. So Gabrielle asks, I submitted the application after I got an email saying that I needed to fix something. How do I know when it's completed now? All right. Anyone else want to answer that question as well? All right, Yolanda.
Hey, Gabrielle. So, you'll know your application is completed when you receive an email along with your verification receipt. If there's anything that needs to be corrected on any form, we'll send you an email letting you know that that piece of information needs to be resubmitted. But otherwise, you'll receive an email letting you know that your application has been completed along with your verification receipt.
All right. All right. So I think we're going to jump back into the presentation a little bit and just do a couple slides, talk about payment. I know you all care about payment. So we're going to go over that. Desiree's going to go over that briefly, and then we'll jump back in, answer some more of your questions, because that's why you're here, for the Q&A. All right. I'm going to share my screen again. Just one moment. All right. Looks a little different, but okay. Here we go. All right. So I'll go over this real quick for Curtis. So like he was saying, just make sure you can just click that finalize and submit registration if you feel like you need to go back and do some more work on your forms. It's better to click finalize and submit registration than save and continue later, just so you get it into the system, get your application into the system. All right, and now we're gonna have Desiree take it away.
Okay, so our next slide, we're going to talk about how a youth can be paid. And we have 3 payment options. You can use the U.S. Bank debit card, which is provided by YouthWorks, or you can use your personal existing account, or you can use Security Plus. So, 2 things. When using your existing account, you must provide the bank authorization form along with your payroll form. Complete the middle section where it's asking for your routing number and your account number and your bank name and all that. You need to include all that information on that form as well. Security Plus, this year we're doing it a little bit different, but if you choose to want to open an account with Security Plus as a new account,
This year we're doing it a little bit different,
but if you just click on that option that you're interested in open an account for Security Plus, then we'll have a Security Plus representative will reach out to you. Okay, so this is the YouthWorks payroll form, and this is how it looks. At the top, you will enter your social security number, last name, first name, middle initial. The middle box is what I was referring to. If you want to use if you want to receive a debit card from YouthWorks, you can just check the U.S. Bank debit pay card. If you're interested in opening a Security Plus account, you'll just click that box, and like I said, a representative will contact you. Or if you have your own existing bank account, then you just have to provide that direct deposit form from the bank and enter all your information, your routing number, the financial institution, what type of account it is. And then at the bottom, where it's asking for employee signature, you will put your signature there, then your parent signature if you're under the age of 18, and then date and a phone number. Or you can submit a voided check. Thank you, Ms. Carol, if you're going to use your own personal account.
All right. So now we're gonna take another couple questions. Maybe you have some questions about payment. All right. So Yvette asked, at what age do they stop submitting workers' permits, and how long do they last? All right. Desiree?
Hi, Miss Yvette. So, if a youth is the age of 13, they would have a paperwork permit, which they can get from YouthWorks office, but I believe is on the YouthWorks website as one of the documents they can attach. If a youth has worked with YouthWorks last year, they do not need to submit a new workers permit. But if they did apply and they did not work, then they need to have a workers permit. So we ask for new work permits every year. Also, I just been informed that work permits last 3 years, and that's for youth who actually worked with YouthWorks last year.
All right, and just to add to that, there's a specific form for 13-year-olds who are going to be 14 by that June 25th date. A specific workers permit form on the documents tab. If you scroll down on that document, so if you go to the home page first and you hit documents and scroll down, you can use that workers permit if you're that age, 13 and turning 14 June 25th. All right. So Curtis, do you have something else to add there?
Okay, so some of my team members has actually gave me another question. So we receive a lot of calls that comes from a lot of parents that say they never received the email verification. So where would they reach you when it comes to that situation?
Well, usually they've been calling into the office, Curtis, and letting us know. And what we try to do is try to go through each child's attachments to make sure that their attachments are correctly filled out. And that's what sometimes holds us up. But usually once we confirm that all of their attachments are completed, it has to go through a quality review section where our MIS team usually goes through the documents, and it takes them at least 4 to 5 business days to do that, because we have thousands of kids that we look at, and it takes that period of time for our staff to really go over the application, make sure all the attachments are correct, and then the MIS team sends them out that email letting them know that yes, your application is completed and that here is your verification receipt.
Okay, thank you. That will definitely help the parents here and also the help desk.
Wonderful. Let's take another question. So, hi Tia. Tia says, my son submitted an incomplete application. We submitted the missing info. How long would the confirmation take?
Ms. Tia, as I just stated, you may call the office between the hours of 9 and 4 and give us your child's name and their date of birth, and we can kind of look and see if the documents are completed correctly. Sometimes kids leave out the littlest things, signatures. They don't put exempt where they're supposed to put on their W-4s or their 507, or sometimes it looks like the document has not even been filled out completely. I mean, at the top, sometimes they send it in blank, or sometimes they're just missing documentation. So you can always call our office to see if your child's application is complete. We'll do that for you, no problem.
A quick tip too, as well. When it comes to those documents that you're trying to, how should I say it? When you type in your information and you're trying to save it, it's best to use Chrome. It's best to use Chrome instead of Microsoft Edge, because Microsoft Edge, even though you type in the information from Microsoft Edge in the PDF, chances are it's not going to save it. But with Chrome, it does once you hit the download button and say with changes, and it'll save it as the PDF document, overwrite any information that you had previously as well.
That's a great point, Curtis, and something that we'll be going over in some more detail as well, kind of some different options for you to fill out those attachments. And maybe we'll take one more question. I feel like we're getting a lot of questions. All right. So thank you for asking the question, Chanel. How do you submit documents if you don't have computer or a scanner? That's a great question. Yolanda?
Hey Chanel, so a quick way to submit the documents, you can call the office and have an appointment scheduled to drop off the document or complete the document. Also, if you have already printed out the document, you can also take a picture of each individual form. Once you take all the pictures of all your forms, then you will log into the child's account on the cell phone that you took a picture with. Click on youth registration and then click attachment. And from there, you'll upload all the pictures one at a time, give it a few seconds, and then it'll attach itself to the application.
All right, thanks so much, Yolanda. All right, so we're gonna jump back in and have Carol and Yolanda go over some frequently asked questions that we've received kind of before this live Q&A. And hopefully that can answer more questions that you all may have. All right, so I'm gonna share my screen again. Just one moment, bear with me. All right, share. Okay. Here we go.
Okay, common application mistakes. Youth did not finalize and submit their application. Again, that is so imperative. Just to remind you that even if you don't have all of your documents in place, we want to keep you in the number. We want to make sure that you finalize and submit before the deadline, which is March the 19th. So you want to finalize the application and submit it, and you can always go back in, as we stated before, to upload and attach your documents. Documents are completed incorrectly and signatures are missing. Make sure, like Curtis said, if you can go into this using Chrome, you can easily look at the document and save it as it is. And you can also edit a document. All of these documents that we have are writable, so you can type within the document. And make sure when you save it that you're saving the name of the document. If it's a I-9, save it as an I-9. It makes it easier when you want to attach the document. You've created an account but did not complete the rest of the application. That's what we spoke of when you do the first part, when you go to YouthWorks and you are a newbie and you have not ever did an application process before. You want to do that first part, that's starting the application process, but you have to go back to your email that the system will send you to open that up and say, yes, this is me. And then we give you permission to go back into the system using that email address and that password to complete the application process. Thank you. Yolanda?
What required documents do I need to attach to my application? The first document will be your birth certificate or social security card. You can submit either or, you don't have to submit both. And that's only if you have not attached it in the previous year. Next, you'll need identification, which can be a driver's license or a Maryland state issued ID. School ID, but we do understand that most schools did not issue school IDs this year. So you're welcome to use report card. Also, you can take a picture of your child report card on campus portal. Also, we do accept passports as a form of identification. The third item will be an I-9 employment eligibility verification form. The next will be an MW507 form. Next will be a W-4 employee withholding certificate. Also, we need an application signature page, a payroll form, work permit for the children between the ages of 14 and 17 if they did not work the previous year. Also, we do have a permit for 13-year-olds who are not currently 14 at the time of submission of application on the YouthWorks website underneath the document tab.
Okay. On my these are some other issues that may come up. On my application, I typed the wrong email or forgot the email address. What do I do? You can email our help desk at ywhelpdesk@oedworks.com with your full name, your birth date, and the email address you use to create your account. The help desk will change your email and will send you an email when done. I forgot my password. What do I do? On the home page, the purple page, the pretty purple page, click log in. Once you click log in, you'll see a tab that says forgot my password. Once you click that, the YouthWorks system will send you your current password to your email account. And you can also, if you don't do that, you can also email the help desk as well with regard to that.
I submitted an application, but I got an email that it was incomplete. What do I do? Please make sure you upload the requested attachment form to the YouthWorks system. Directions I will recite them below. You'll have to go to the YouthWorks homepage, click on the Youth button at the top of the screen. This page in the video will show you what documents are needed, how to fill them out, and how to save and attach them to your application. Then you'll log into your YouthWorks account by clicking on Login on the homepage. Then you'll click on Youth Registration, and then you'll go to the attachment section of the application and attach the document and submit. Please make sure that when you attach in your document that you are also selecting the attachment type of the document that you're getting ready to upload. If you're having difficulties, please email the YW Help Desk for more help.
Okay. The application forms are not fillable for me when I open them. What should I do? If the forms are not fillable when you open them, then we suggest that you first try opening and completing the forms in Google Chrome, as Curtis had mentioned before. Again, in my regular YouthWorks, regular Google, not Google, regular, well, never mind. Sorry, you guys. MSN and all of those sometimes doesn't work. It is, let me see, it is still not, if it's still not fillable in Google Chrome, we recommend opening the document using these sites, https://www.sejda.com/PDF/dash editor. That site has some limitations. The document you start working on will delete in 2 hours. And you can only save 3 documents at a time. You have to wait 30 minutes in order to continue to work on the documents. If you have the 3D Paint program on the computer, that can be useful for providing signatures as well as that website. Curtis, could you please reiterate something on this page for me, please?
Okay, so say, for instance, you do have a document that has like a space that you need to fill. So if you need to fill that space, you can go to sejda.com/PDF-editor. But once, like she said, you only can do like 3 documents at a time every 30 minutes. So what you have to do is just select certain ones. I would suggest you, taking care of the I-9, the W-4, and the work permit. Everything else you should try to do in Chrome because they are easily to fill. You don't have to worry about making a signature or anything of that nature. So I just suggest that you use those 3 documents in Sejda, so that way you don't have to do any more documents with it. And also, I actually made videos for the SESDA website with YouthWorks, so that way you can understand where to place certain signatures and dates, and use the tools there. So hopefully that will be up by this weekend, so you can be instructed on how to do it through IG and Facebook.
Thank you.
How do I get the document to you if I cannot attach them? You may mail the document to our YouthWorks office at 101 West 24th Street, Baltimore, Maryland 21218. You also have the option to call our office at 410-545-1820 to request a drop-off document appointment, date, and time. Ask for Ms. Summers. Appointments are limited.
How do I receive my verification receipt that lets me know my application is approved? I mentioned this before. Our quality review team will look at your application and attach documentation to make sure that everything has met our requirements, and at that time you will be sent a verification receipt to your email address. How do I know if my attachments were not all submitted correctly? You will receive an email from our YW Help Desk with a checklist marked by the uncompleted document. It's going to be an X by that particular document, or if it's something else, it'll be an X by other, and they'll explain to you exactly what is missing on the documents or if it's been filled out incorrectly.
All right, so I'm going to stop sharing my screen and we're going to go through some more of your questions. Thank you so much for being here with us. We really enjoyed going over this information with you. All right. We got any questions to go over here? Or while we're waiting for that question, oh, here we go. All right, Micah has a question. How do we do the work virtually? So I guess talking more about the YouthWorks program, Rasheen, maybe we'll test out if your microphone is working so you can talk about the program and kind of how it's going to be run this summer. Okay, maybe not. Yeah, I don't think it doesn't seem like it's working. All right. Who wants to go over more of the program?
Yeah. I'll be a second. So this year, there's kind of three options. There's going to be, most of the kids will be virtually working. And it really depends what the children will be doing as to what work sites come on board. Kids that are 18 and above, we're trying to put together a program that would allow you to do in-person work sites, and then there's hybrids work sites that we're going to be doing. So that's all in the trying to get together phase. We're just trying to figure out how the program is going to work. It really depends on what's happening with Open Up the City government and the state government to really determine what kind of work sites and how many we'll have. So we're trying to wait till all the work sites come on board, and then we'll discuss. They'll let us know what kind of work sites they'll be able to have this year.
All right. That's a great answer, Carol. All right, so Beatrice asks, hello, my daughter has emailed them before, but they have never been quite specific as to what the problem with each part stated was. And I'm thinking we're talking about an incomplete email. She has fixed everything that she thinks she needs to. No further emails stating that there is a problem has been sent. How should we know that it is all confirmed and correct? Yolanda, do you want to go over that one?
Yes. One way to know is that you'll receive an email with her verification receipt. Also, you can call the office and we can confirm with you over the phone that the documents that are received are actually filled out correctly. And if not, we can go over what needs to be corrected so that you can resubmit those forms.
All right, thanks so much, Yolanda. And I believe we mentioned earlier, takes a few days just for us to get through all of those applications coming in, since we have thousands in there. So we'll do our best to get it back to you quickly. But again, feel free to shoot us a call or shoot us an email or give us a call so we can go over that with you. All right, so why don't we take another question? All right. Thank you so much for sending a question, Central Soul. Greetings from Central Soul, where we are assisting youth in our communities to successfully apply. My name is Rachel, and I have a few questions on behalf of youth. For example, an applicant submitted her permanent resident card, which satisfies the HR I-9 form regarding identification and employment authorization. But she still received an email from YouthWorks asking for her birth certificate. Given that she was not born in the US and has already uploaded her permanent resident card, is that sufficient? All right.
We have Dennis, who is part of the MIS team, and we have Dante. Perhaps they can chime in on those specifics.
Yes, the permanent resident card would be sufficient. You wouldn't need the birth certificate. If someone was checked birth certificate, it was in there on the birth certificate side. As long as the card was still valid, not expired.
Okay. All right. So that's an answer for you. Thank you so much for asking that, Central Soul. All right. Thanks again for asking another question, Angela. How and when will we know if our child is selected for employment? All right. Why don't we answer that question?
We don't match them ourselves. We send the information out, and what happens is we have work sites who have needs, and then we have kids' interest. And so when we send this data out, they match the kids that way. And so because the work sites have until April the 16th, that'll happen sometime in May, and then towards the end of May, June, we have until at least 2 weeks before they start to let them know if they have a job. And given this pandemic, everything is moving kind of slower. So, you just have to give us the opportunity to go through the quality review and get the kids in and get the get the work sites in to get all the information and to start doing the matching sometime in May.
All right. Thank you so much, Carol, for answering that question. All right. So here we have another question. In order to get an interview with a potential work site in connection to YouthWorks, I need to submit my verification within 2 days, but I haven't received a confirmation or verification yet. How can I check the status of this? So here we're talking about that verification receipt and matching with specific work sites. Who can answer that one?
He's probably speaking specifically maybe about the whichever work site that is. I don't want to say whichever that is, but again, as we stated, you can call the office on Monday between 9 and 4 and have one of our staff members look into your application to make sure, again, making sure that all the signatures are there and making sure that you put your exemptions in the right place. That's very imperative. So you can call our office and have one of our clerical staff look into that for you. And then you can probably contact your work site to let them know that, yes, I did get it in on time. And yes, I did contact YouthWorks and I should be getting my receipt shortly. That is if it's all completed correctly.
All right. All right. So why don't we take another couple questions and then we'll kind of go over just all of the contact information that we have real quick. And then that'll be it for us. But so Kayla's asking, says, I turned in my attachments and I did get the email saying that it was complete. I guess that you'll call me in June to tell me if I got the job or not. So why don't we clear that up for Kayla?
Kayla, go ahead, Yolanda. You're more than welcome to, sweetie.
Okay, so Information will be going out sometime in June in reference to placement, but like Ms. Carroll just said, we do have up until 2 weeks before the actual program starts to let you know if you receive a position and if you did, where you'll be placed at for the summer.
Wonderful. Carol, did you have something else to add as well?
No, you'll receive in the mail everything that you need to know, and via email as well, and regular mail. You'll have your work site if you are chosen. You'll have your work site assignment, your contact information for the work site, the person that you'll be working with, the address and all of that. So you'll be given the telephone number, the person's name, and these kind of contacts once you are placed. You will be immediately told where you are. You'll be immediately advised where you're going.
And I'd just like to add that we have a lot of placements. There's a good amount of opportunities. So just please do your best to complete those applications. We're excited to have you applying, and we're excited for the program this summer. So why don't we take one more question, and then we'll go over that contact information and let you go on this Friday evening. All right, so Jasmine says, I've gotten an email about their application being incomplete. I've fixed and resubmitted the documents, but I haven't gotten an email confirmation that they've went through and that they're approved. So this is a question that I think seems to be very relevant for a lot of our attendees. And so you should receive that confirmation or that it's still incomplete within a few days. We're doing our best to get through those as quick as possible. But again, I'm about to show that contact information. Please email us or give us a phone call. We would love to help as much as we can. All right, so I'm going to share my screen just so you can see our full contact information. And this presentation, this webinar will be on Facebook and YouTube. It's not going to go away. So you're not going to lose this information. And we'll make sure we'll keep posting about our contact information. And if you go on our website, you can find that there as well on the youth page. So here's some more of our contact information again. You've seen YW Help Desk email. As you see there, ywhelpdesk@oedworks.com. You can also email summerjobs@oedworks.com, but I believe we would prefer that help desk email. The help desk email, help desk phone number, just YouthWorks. If you have YouthWorks questions, is 410-545-1820. And you met Curtis from our tech support hotline, 410-834-4214. helpdesk1@digitalequitybaltimore.org is their email. And we're grateful to have them helping us out to provide that tech support. And make sure you go into that YouthWorks website, youthworks.oedworks.com. Make sure you go to that youth page. We have that other video there, that how-to video guide. And you can skip through it to find specific forms that maybe need a little more help with. We try to provide some more information there as well. But I'm going to stop sharing here, and thank you all so much for attending our live Q&A. If you want to see more of us, you can go and watch that again, run it back, or if you're new to joining in, you can watch that again. Does anyone else from our team have anything else to add? Maybe we'll. Why don't we don't need to say goodbye just yet. It looks like we're still getting questions in there. So why don't we answer a few more questions, actually. I'm sorry, I jumped the gun there. Let's put up some more new questions we received. I think that was one that we have received before. Is there a number we can call? Is there any way I can fax my documents? Is that possible?
No, because we're not in our building that we usually are in. We're using someone else's building. And so we don't have a fax machine of our own. But again, if you have the paperwork and you need an appointment to come into the office to drop it off, we do have appointments between the hours of 11 a.m. and 5 a.m. Monday through Thursday. Just call our office and we'll be glad to set you up for an appointment to come in to drop your documents off.
Perfect. All right. And thank you for asking a question, Shanice. If my child's birthday is in April, can she still apply? My birthday is also in April. Just a shout out April babies. All right, what's our answer for that? Actually, I think I can jump on that. So it depends how old they are. So if you are between 14 and 21 at the time of June 25th, 2021, then you're able to apply. So let's say your child is 13 at the moment, but then their birthday is in April, so they'd be turning 14 in April. That means that they can apply because they'll be 14 by the time that the program starts. So thank you so much for asking that question. All right. Oh, and Dennis just provided some more information for me. So just for a little more help there, the latest birth date that one can have and still apply is June 25th, 2007. So I hope that helps as well. All right. Looks like we're getting great questions from Angela. Thank you again. Do they get paid weekly or bi-weekly, or is it dependent on the employer? All right. Let's see. Anyone want to try
they
to
get paid bi-weekly. The only time that would vary if they are on the employer's payroll. The employer would pay them however the employer's payroll roll. But if they are on the YouthWorks payroll, it's bi-weekly.
All right. Thank you so much, Dennis. So again, bi-weekly most of the time, but there's potential for some variance there, so it could vary. But basically, it should be bi-weekly. All right.
Let me iterate something with that. And I don't think that we mentioned this at the top, and Regine will probably have mentioned it. There's two sides of YouthWorks. There is the whole side of YouthWorks, which kids are being paid by contributions, state funds, federal funds, grant money. That's for kids 14 to 21. Then we have our private sector side, which these kids are ages 16 to 21. These kids have to go through the job readiness training, and employers actually interview those kids. So the employer pays for those kids. So the amount of pay may vary, the hours may vary, because they are the older kids, but you do have to in your application say that you're interested in becoming a private sector youth, and you have to be between the ages of 16 and 21. So that kind of sums that up a little bit, explains that a little bit.
Thank you so much, Carol. It's great that you brought up the private sector section as well. Again, you have to be 16 to 21 to show interest in that, and that's another great option for our summer program. All right, so Cameron's asking, for the people who do get accepted, what kind of activities will be going on this summer? So Carol started to answer that one earlier to a degree, that there's an option for virtual employment. There's an option for hybrid, so virtual and in person, or virtual and in person. So you'd be switching off, and then just in person employment. So there's a few different possibilities there. It also depends on where we're at with COVID-19 in terms of how much availability there is there for in-person work. And I hear that we're going to give Rashim another chance to say hello.
Hello. It works? Yay! I've been watching from the audience and engaging there a bit. So I just want to say, I first want to say shout out to the team for all of the work that they've been doing and putting this together behind the scenes. There was so much work, time, effort, and energy put into making this possible for folks. Everyone who answered the question, Arlie did such an amazing job with setting this up. Eric, thank you for pitching in when my technology didn't work. Carol, you're always so on point, and I just supporting the whole process. Curtis, thank you for the setup of the video. And we are really, really excited here at YouthWorks for this year coming up. We are eager for people to sign up for jobs. We have a job for you. If you have not signed up yet, please make sure that you are signing up. If you know some like one or two friends or one or two cousins, and you know you're about to have money and you want to go out and do things, they're going to need money to go out and do things unless you're going to plan to pay for everything. So invite your cousins, your friends, your uncle, not your uncle, but your cousin and your friends to come on and sign up for YouthWorks so that they can make sure that they get paid. Currently, the deadline, and I'm sure that everyone already went over this, the deadline is to submit is March 19th. So as of today, you only have about a week to get that in. So make sure that you get that in, check and look out for your emails. In those emails, it'll let you know what information is missing. If you are slow to, or you're calling and you haven't gotten in contact with us yet, please still keep calling. Due to COVID, we're not in the office on a very regular basis. Fridays are a little bit slower for us. The help desk number is right there. I've always wanted to do that, to point down and a thing be there. Help desk number is right there on the screen. Please reach out. We want you to get employed. Sign up today. There's a few changes, and I'm sure they've already went over those changes with this year, me being one of them as the current program manager. I know that I stand tall because I stand on the shoulders of Michelle Miles, whose shoes that I am working to fill. Another of those changes is instead of 5 weeks, we are now 6 weeks. So that means more money in your pocket. Instead of 5 weeks of money, you get 6 weeks of money. Instead of 25 hours a week, it'll be 20 hours a week, and the minimum wage has went up. So you will be making even more money than previous years. So make sure that you sign up today. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to all of the information that has been provided. Again, sign up as soon as possible. We have a job for you waiting. I'm holding your spot. I'm holding your seat.
Wonderfully said, Rasheen. Thank you so much. And why don't we take another question? All right, so Kimmy's asking, my son's passport expired last year. Can it still be used as a form of identification until he gets an ID?
I have a few questions. Kimmy, has your son participated in the program in previous years? Because if your son has already participated, then they would only need something like a school ID or a report card. We do want the information that is provided to not be expired. So if you have other forms of identification, that would be strongly encouraged. That would be my response to that.
Wonderful. Let's see. We take another question. Why not? All right. Gabrielle, it says it's been 3 weeks since I've gotten an email about whether my application has been verified. So real quick, I can answer part of that question. If you're using a Yahoo email, it is possible that one of our emails didn't go through from our application. But why don't we go in a little more detail into that question? Carol, you ready to take another one?
I also have something to say.
Good.
So on the help desk side, where we try to help, the students like via Zoom or PC remote, we've noticed that some of the Baltimore City public schools emails addresses, we cannot send any emails through that. So it's best to have Gmail for everything, literally. So just to keep that in mind.
Okay. Again, you're more than welcome to give our office a call to see if your application is either submitted or you did the first part, you didn't complete the application, or if your documents are complete. That is very, very important you won't hear anything from our office except you'll see an email. If the document's not complete, it'll be an X by what needs to be either corrected or uploaded, or if it's something else, such as a signature that needs to be put on your documents. But again, you're more than welcome to call our office at any time between 9 and 4 to ask those questions. And our clerical staff will be glad to look at your account to see, and then we can follow up with our MIS team to get you a verification receipt if your application has been completed successfully.
And if for some reason you're not receiving an email, if you haven't received any, you can change your email. So we can help you update it. If you email us at that ywhelpdesk@oedworks.com, or if you give us a call, just like Carol was saying, we can change your email, but also go over where you are in the application process and where we have your attachments and all that good stuff. All right, let's see. Should we take another question?
If there are more questions, I would like to take all of the questions.
Let's take as many questions as we can. Why not? All right. So, and our wonderful Arlie behind the scenes has been throwing up those questions for you. She's been doing a lot of work helping us make sure this process goes smoothly. All right. Thank you for asking a question, Cameron. What if I already submitted my form, but now I want to use my own card? What do I do?
Carol, can they can access the application and update or change information?
When he says his own card, does he mean a document?
I think bank card.
Oh, his bank card. Okay. So you can still call the office and someone at the office or help desk can change your option. Once you submit your application, you're not able to change anything in your application. You're only able to upload documents. So if it's something specific in your application, like sometimes mothers will use their device to complete the application, and then you find out that the parent's name is on the application instead of the child. So sometimes a parent will call and ask us to change the name to their child's name. So we can change things within your document. We can, but you cannot. So you can give our office a call and we're able to do that.
Perfect. All right. Thank you, Carol. Thank you, Sheen. Andrea says, my daughter got a work permit 3 years ago from a different job when she was 14. Is that still used? And if so, how do you retrieve that document?
Each year you'd need to submit a work permit. So even if you had one for 3 years ago, you would still have to submit a work permit for this year. And you could go to, is it DLR, DHR?
DLLR.
DLLR. And get a work permit form and submit it with your application.
Yeah, and we're not able to use any work permit from any prior employer. If it's not YouthWorks, we cannot use any other work permit.
But I believe, as we said earlier, to kind of go over that as well, if you've worked with YouthWorks in the past year or two, I believe Desiree was at 3 years as well, then you can use that work permit again.
Yes, it was 3 years.
Okay, great. Yeah, so if you've worked with YouthWorks specifically in that time period, you can use that work permit again. And to make that easier on you in terms of the link, go to the youth page. And if you click right on work permit, it'll take you straight there. But if you look up DLLR, like for the Department of Labor, then you can fill out that work permit. And they give you really great directions on there as well. You make sure you save it once you fill it out on there, and then put it on that application in that attachment section. All right. Thank you for asking a question, Shanice. Is it best to use the children's email or the parents' email when applying?
It's best to use the children's email, but I believe there's also a space for parents to also put their email address in addition. Is there? I know there's a space for the phone number, but it's best to use the youth's email.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And it looks like, yeah, here we go. Lisa has a question. My daughter needs a verification for her YouthWorks application for a Johns Hopkins job, and it's due by Sunday. How can she get the verification?
So what our point? Yep, there we go. Charlie's on it. The point of contact to reach out to about John Hopkins is R. Walker at OED Works. Rodney handles all specific John Hopkins. Just make sure that she has completely completed her application, uploaded it, and attached all of her documents. And then she could follow up with Mr. Walker, and he will be able to give her information as it relates to where the status of her application is.
All right. And Rodney's a really friendly guy, I have to say. So he'll make sure he'll do the best he can to help you out. All right, so Andrea asks, what will the weekly 20-hour schedule be like? 5 days, 4 hours daily, Monday through Friday, starting at 9 a.m., or does it vary?
So it will be 20 hours a week, 5 days a week. It may slightly vary, depending upon the site. So one site might start at 9, one site might start at 8:30, but it's still that 20-hour a week schedule.
Exactly. All right. Oh, Kara, did you have something else to add there as well?
And within the 4 hours, in addition to the 4 hours, they have to do a lunch as well, I believe, right, Regine?
Oh yeah, the lunch is part of it. Yep.
Yeah, just an additional either half an hour or hour for lunch. So just think of their day being 4.5 hours or 5 hours long.
Yep. And real quick, as we mentioned, there's some different options for working in person, hybrid, so some in person and virtually, or just virtually. And so if you have a preference on that application, make sure you click what you would prefer for that. All right, so Camelia says, hello, everyone. Hi, Camelia. Thank you for this Q&A. For those students who may have difficulty navigating the virtual environment, are there any accommodation options, or would this pose a barrier for employment?
Yeah, here's what I want to say. I believe that there are some sites that are specifically working to reduce that barrier in those cases where they show up. So on our end, we are working to try to provide additional options, whether that is a hybrid option or 18 and over in person scenario. Right now, it's primarily virtual until we get different input from the mayor or the health department telling us that we can open up to more in-person sites. But I believe individual work sites are doing what they can to remove those barriers.
All right. Well, thank you for asking another question, Central Soul. For an applicant that will submit this weekend, if she gets notified of any issues with her documentation, can she get an extension past March 19th to correct documentation?
So what if she has her application submitted and she has her documents attached to it, and let's say there's a signature missing from it, if she got it in by that March 19th deadline, then she's already in the pipeline, so we would still work with her on her application so long as she gets it in by March 19th and she has the appropriate attachment. So if there's like one or two things missing, or she made a mistake here or there, she's still in the running to get a job this summer.
All right, thanks so much, Rashim. All right, so that's the last question we're going to be taking, but I'm going to show that contact information again because we would love to hear from you, especially if you need something clarified, or just if you have some questions about your application, where you are in the process. And here we go. Here's that contact information. Feel free to email us, give us a call. If you have some technical issues, that tech support number, maybe you'll get Curtis on the phone if you're lucky, although the whole team's great. And that's it for us. maybe Rashim, do you want to say a little something?
Sure.
To finish this off. All right.
I think one of the things I want to say, just kind of emphasize how important it is to us that you are employed. Again, people are working. Thanks, Camilla. People are working behind the scenes to make sure that you have a job. Thank you, Lisa. To make sure that your youth are employed. Thank you, Kimmy. So thank you for showing up to this space. Thank you for the questions that you're asking and for staying engaged. Please, 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 if you have found this of value, everybody who's saying thank you right now, please share this with at least 2 other people, 3 other people. Please share this with your nephew, your cousins, your neighbors. Share it with as many people as possible. Share the information, the contact information. We want to get as many youth employed as possible. Thank you, Nika. And again, thank you so much to the fantastic team. Thank you, Shanice. To the fantastic team who put this together. Arlie, who's behind the scenes making these questions pop up on the screens. Eric, who worked on the PowerPoint. Carol, Yolanda, Curtis involved in answering the questions. We are here for you. We want to see you win. We want to have you employed. Thank you again for taking the time to show up in this space. And I hope to see all of you employed this summer.
And real quick, I want to make sure we thank our wonderful Desiree, who did a great job. She jumped in.
Right.
I kind of got her hooked in to help us out later on, and she did a wonderful job presenting. Just want to make sure we get that shout out there as well. I'm not sure if you mentioned or not, but Dennis and Dante did a great job, especially helping us out, answering questions in the chat directly. Wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us on this live Q&A for YouthWorks.
Thank you.
Bye,
Hope to see you this summer working.